evening, everyone. Happy Monday. How's it going? This is Brenda Facemire, and this show tonight is Keeping It Real. You can follow me on Instagram at Brenda Facemire. You can follow me on Twitter at Girl Talk Sports 4. Again, that's at Girl Talk Sports 4. You can join my Facebook groups. Let's Talk After Dark, He Said, She Said, Always and Forever Skins, and, of course, Face Off with Facemire. You can send me a message to faceoffwithfacemire@yahoo.com. If you're interested in doing some advertising, you want to be interviewed, want to suggest topics for the shows, want to send in questions for He Said, She Said, or if you like your own show, send me a message to faceoffwithfacemire@yahoo.com. The call-in number is 563-999-3462, 563-999-3462. Our first show tonight from 6 to 7, we're going to be talking about suicide and depression with Robert. I'm going to put him on. Hold on one second. Hi, this is Keeping It Real. Is this Robert?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing fine. This is Brenda and Tucker.
Nice to meet you.
Robert. Nice
Hello.
to meet you. You want to go ahead and give everyone a little introduction about you and what you're all about?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, of course. I am a certified master trainer of hypnotherapy, of neurolinguistic programming, and quantum psychology and spiritual psychology, and I help people who suffer from anxiety and depression. I help them overcome their past pain and traumas, and they are able this way to gain back their strength, confidence, and their inner power, and then create a life that actually is enjoyable for them. And I achieve all this through working through the subconscious mind. So my focus is the unconscious world, a lot of the deep stuff that is off the radar screen, and the very stuff that creates our world, that creates our emotions, our outcomes or results. And when life falls apart, when we don't feel well, when we have relationship problems or health problems or even financial problems, then I help people understand and decode why, and then I help them reprogram the mind so life begins to work.
Okay, so like you're into hypnotizing and stuff like that, right?
Well, that's one of the many, many things I do. Those are techniques when we have to access the deep part of the unconscious mind. We do hypnosis on ourselves all day long. The moment you drive, the moment you like a song, you go into that hypnotic state. So we do it all ourselves. The moment you believe someone else, whether it was beneficial or not, you hypnotized yourself to believe something. So it's happening to us, but what I do is come in from a different angle. I come in with the intention to help people get dehypnotized from the bad stuff and hypnotized into the beneficial things. Does it make sense?
Yeah, kind of. So, like, people come to you with their problems, and then you help them, like, solve them, and I don't want to say get over them, but, help them through them and everything like that. Is that correct?
Yes, it's very deep stuff. This is actually, our entire life is a result of our subconscious thinking and subconscious thoughts, and those are a collection of our memories, the collection of a relationship with ourselves, with our parents, and then we create these different thinking patterns, different emotions, and everything that happens to us in life, and that could even go for good happenings and accidents, is a result of some crazy, convoluted subconscious thinking pattern. And I'm a master of knowing what thinking pattern causes what outcomes, and when people say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, can you please help me fix my relationship? And I will show them, we have techniques, why they are doing what they're doing, and they can change it once and for all.
Okay, so what kind of schooling did you have to be able to do this?
Well, quite a lot. This is not taught in ordinary institutions because it's leading-edge stuff. Ordinary institutions don't teach leading-edge stuff. So I had to learn from world-class leaders, PhD spiritual psychologists that are on the leading edge. And this is entrepreneurship. This is like the very, very leading edge of entrepreneurship. I had started taking 10.5 years ago just general seminars in Orange County, California, and I learned the fundamentals of neuro-linguistic programming and then hypnosis. And then I went to all sorts of private mentors from around the world. And I also have a very diligent and very analytical engineering background. And I started decoding my own pain. 10.5 years ago, just this might really interest you. I'll be very quick about this, but 10.5 years ago, I was paralyzed by a stroke. And I was going to therapy, the traditional kind, for 25 years, and not one therapist or counselor came even close to telling me why I was feeling that way. And the negative byproduct of their, inability to help me led to a stroke and 2 divorces and 2 bankruptcies. So whatever I teach, I walk the walk. This is not just textbook. It's hardcore recovery from a very painful life. And I made it my life's mission to really help people. Not everyone's ready for it, but I would say about 30 to 40% of the world's population is ready, and they are devouring it.
Okay, so did you help yourself, if that makes any sense?
Yes,
Since
I
no
help
one else
myself.
helped you. Huh? Yeah.
I started hiring mentors that they helped me to some degree. And then through the techniques I learned, I also had to develop my own techniques and my own understanding. So I took a good and functional system and I took it to the nth level, took it to like 100 times more potent. And that's how I developed the recipes where I can help people come out of anxiety very fast, come out of depression very fast, even if they struggled for 30 or 40 years, So I am the fix it for good guy if people are ready.
Okay.
Okay. Do you, just people, when they come to you, are they scared of losing control during the hypnosis sessions?
That's a great question. It is, for someone who has had no self-development, it is a pre-talk I have with them. They never lose control, right? Because they are actually in control. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I ask them questions, and when they answer, they are in full control. And I don't ask them questions is irrelevant to their problem. For example, when somebody comes to me with a relationship problem, and I first do some spiritual psychology talk, and that sounds just like what we are doing here right now. You're not keeping your eyes closed. I'm asking some good questions, some very high-quality questions, and that will instigate a part of our brain, a part of our mind, that will force us to find a solution. You see, the only reason why people have problems, let it be financial, let it be relationship challenge, let it be health issues, is because we haven't found the answer ourselves to the question that we haven't asked. So I ask them a question. Like, for example, do you feel right now, just the two of you, that you are in control of your life right now? You do, right? The answer is yes.
No.
Why not? Well, that's your fear. Why not?
Yeah.
Right, that's your fear. And now you're projecting that. That's why, at your stage, you would not be a good hypnotist because you're not confident. Okay? So,
right.
Does it make sense? Because even good therapists, psychiatrists know of hypnosis. And this has been around for 4,000 years. All the successful people know of it, and they've been using it. But the people who are afraid of it are only afraid of their own personal power. And the moment they can let it go, then they realize that they are absolutely 100% in control of their life. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Can you describe your ideal client?
Yes, my ideal client is, right now we are focusing on training the next generation of coaches, therapists, and counselors who really know how to help people come out of their deepest struggles, their depression, their traumas, because people don't even know how to begin to heal trauma. I am one of the only people on this planet that knows it, has the full recipe. So the ideal client is who's curious, who's sick and tired of being sick and tired, really wants to live purposefully and wants to help people heal and create a better world together.
Okay, how do you get? I don't know if I should say clients or patients. Do people refer you, or how does that work?
That's a great question.
Do you advertise?
I do have a website. Yes, we do have a very well-targeted ads running that are telling people that we exist. If you want to be a leading-edge coach, heal yourself, get over any challenge that you want, and be it sustainable, have it sustainable, then we have that. We also, just so you know, I've been teaching for 10.5 years. So this has been, a very deeply rooted and a very successful business. Our clients are all over the world, thousands of success stories. So we do have the word of mouth, which is always an honor. So we advertise, or clients know of us from multiple different avenues and angles.
Okay, so I know some people, because all this is new to me. I know some people that go to people to be hypnotized because they smoke and overeat, to help them with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do that kind of thing?
I know how to do it. I don't focus on it. I teach my students how to do it. So here's why. Hypnosis is a tool in the psychological archive. The reason why people smoke is because they have psychological gains and psychological benefits, and hypnosis reaches the part of the mind where that psychology is conflicted. Okay? Even though people smoke, a part of them does not want to smoke because it knows that it is not good for them, but they continue smoking. And if we just talk about things, that is on the surface. What hypnosis does is talks to the boss. It's almost like, imagine that you get in an elevator and you start going deep and deep and deep and deep, maybe even 100 floors deep. And that's where the boss is. And you have a boss, you have a boss, I have a boss. It's called our subconscious mind. And it's even in the Bible. The Bible really is just a very precise recipe of how to program our subconscious mind. And what I help people do is take that elevator and talk to the boss. Because when the boss approves, then the results on the surface will completely and permanently shift.
Okay. Again, this is fascinating and new to me. So, can you hypnotize someone, on the phone, or do they have to be in person?
Definitely can do on the phone, and it doesn't even have to be. There's different levels of hypnosis. I wanted to say two things quick, so I'll just say the first thing first. There's different levels of hypnosis. For example, even when you feel in awe of something, even when you go to the movie theater and you feel like you're absorbed in that movie, you are hypnotized. So it's not a negative word. Most people who don't understand, they give it a negative connotation, but they do it 24/7, okay? So to answer your question, Brenda, is I can help people, but I'm very picky as to who I work with, because I want to make sure that all my clients are my shining testimonials. And when people are just very new to this, or they have reservations and they want to keep the reservations, I don't work with them. I only work with people that are ready, only work with people that are curious and intrigued. It's very important for me to work with people who are intrigued and really, deep down, want to achieve the desired results. They really want to succeed. They really want to laugh again. They really want to make a lot of money. They really want to have that amazing relationship that they think only exists in the movie. I help people achieve that. And when they come to me in person, which is a different level, I can hypnotize them too, but I can do it over Zoom. I can do it over any form of technology, if that makes sense.
Okay, but say, I know everybody's got different kinds of problems, but say, does some people's insurance, does it cover this, or, what I'm saying? So, if someone's go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I cut you. Go ahead, please.
No, because of, that's something that a lot of people worry about. They have problems and stuff, but some insurances don't cover certain things. So that's the reason I'm asking that question.
Yeah, Brenda, that's a great question. So here's the deal. I don't accept insurance because this is so leading edge, the insurance hasn't even heard of it. I'm like a spaceship, and they only insure cars. So The short answer is no, but here's the cool thing. So instead of me taking 30 years and $20 to $50 co-pays a week, you do the math, I offer very affordable online programs and online group coaching sessions that beats any insurance plan whatsoever. It all depends on the person's mindset and their investment strategy. And the real question, Brenda, that drives all this, and this is the cool thing, is that are they valuing themselves enough to really want to change? Because here's a huge problem that I see with people. The ones that value themselves, they'll get resourceful and they'll find a way. The ones that don't feel valuable, don't feel worthy, they'll find an excuse.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you see this for yourself. You deal with people. I'm sure you see, some really amazing people, and you see people that continue to struggle. And you might scratch your head and go, why? Why is this dichotomy? Why is this disconnect? And everyone has the chance to really create a good life. Why do they not choose to do so?
Right, and I understand that. And, I mean, honestly, you're blowing my mind away here right now with all this because, I mean, this is so interesting and something totally out of my comfort zone that, I'm taking notes and everything. But you also got to understand, I understand what you're saying, but there are so many people that do have problems and stuff, but they rely on their insurance to help them with their problems. And with, this virus and people aren't working, which causes a lot of problems, they might not have the money to pay for help. So that's the reason I'm asking these kind of questions. Yeah?
That's really, really good question. I'm so glad you asked because it shows that you care. So here's what I have done. I put 10.5 years of my blood, sweat, and my hard labor, including my own money, that's equal to close to $1 million, to help people who are in that boat achieve healing and achieve good results. I wrote a book. It's called The Mastering of Your Mind, and it is on Amazon. The Kindle version is $8.95. The paperback version is $16.95. That beats any copay of any insurance any day. Then I have online courses that sell just literally a couple $100 to help people overcome some of the foundational, fundamental challenges. That also beats any copay, any insurance, any day. You get my point, right? So it is available. It really is just a mindset. People who learn about this and go, wait a minute. And this is exactly what happened to me, by the way. When I first saw the person doing this on stage, in 5 minutes, he blew away a problem that I struggled with for 30 years. And I was so excited, also angry. Like, why is this not available? But that's what began my journey. So I'm very happy today that I did.
Okay. When you see people in person, what is the average sessions that you have with them to maybe work through their problems?
Are you asking about length of time, or what are you referring to?
Like number of sessions.
Oh, I see. Well, because I've done this thousands of times, and I certainly applied everything to myself. I've done a million different techniques and a million-mile journey is what I call it. What I like to do is I offer people packages because I like my clients to succeed. And this also helps me guarantee that they will get the results that they are seeking and also makes them a more committed client. So I would say that on average, I like to at least book them for 10 sessions. That shows me commitment, and through the 10 sessions, we can achieve lasting results. And during these sessions, I teach them techniques. I teach them how the mind works. I teach them what caused their current problem, and then I teach them how to come out of it, and I guide them out of it. But ultimately, what I do behind the scenes is give them empowerment. So instead of me being the chauffeur, I teach them how to drive. Because then they can get up anytime, anywhere, and go whichever destination they want to on their own. So what I do, and this is what I'm proud of, I work myself out of a job by giving people their lives back.
Right, which if the world worked like that, it would be a lot better place. What backup tools do you offer, such as MP3s?
I'm sorry, what was the question or the statement? I didn't hear.
Do you offer any backup tools, such as MP3s, like when the sessions are over?
Yes, of course, I certainly do. I also have, as I mentioned, my book, which was a bestseller in 2015, and it continues to create great success. I also have podcasts available. The podcast name is called Prosperity Mindset. Prosperity Mindset, and prosperity stands for success, relationships, success in health, and success in money areas. So prosperity means a good life. So that is completely free. People can download them. And back to you, sir. Yes, because I also offer online courses, people who end up becoming my clients because they qualify and they really want the change, they get to keep all of those things for life.
Very good.
Okay, so do people pay according to their, I don't want to say problems, what they're going through? So, there's a certain price for if you have this, or a certain price if you have that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't price it because my services are not commodity. These are, I'm not a gallon of milk. I help people save their life. So what I do is in the 10 sessions, if they happen to become my private clients, then I customize the session. And it's the same price because it's simpler for me. And as I mentioned, the online programs I offer are focusing on helping people overcome these specific problems. And there are very affordable ones, and there are the more expensive ones that only therapists and coaches will be allowed to take because they are serious about the change. But to answer your question, there's no different price packages right now unless I agree with the client. I agree that, okay, I need to see you at least for 5 sessions, and here it's what it will take. This is what I want you to do, and this is how much it will cost. So I can do that. I have the freedom to do that. But again, my main focus right now is either private coaching or helping coaches and therapists to get highly trained, so we could create, the human. We can help people really heal, because I went to therapy for 25 years and it didn't do a thing for me. So what I offer now is very different. What I offer is impact, change, sustainability.
Okay. Also, anytime we ask a question you don't want to answer, you can just say skip or something like that. I should have said that in the beginning. Okay. We're not here to, it's just a lot of these interviews. We just started the show maybe a month ago, and I find it so interesting what everybody's different topic is. So that's the reason we do it, so someone can learn and everything like that. So we're learning too. So like I said, this is just really interesting. So so you're saying if Tucker has one problem and I have several, we would start out probably paying the same amount for those 10 sessions.
It's I see what you mean now. Okay. So there's no such thing as having one problem. Maybe being aware of one problem. But here's what I do. We do offer breakthrough courses, that are online, and that is designed to build a foundation. Okay, that is designed to really help you understand why we have problems, why we are actually creating more problems than solutions on a daily basis, and that this is something that is a system, is a process, and everybody. Let me say it this way. Everybody has to go through it if we want sensibility and sustainable success back. So in other words, I will not take Tucker for one session, okay? Because what I normally, if this was a private coaching session, then I would get to know the problem. I would get to know him and see if, what the real problem is. Because what we say the problem isn't really the real problem. Because if we knew the real problem, we wouldn't have the problem. Would you agree?
Right. Right.
So I would interview him. I would interview you, and then figure out what the best route to take. Because you may not be at your current, level of the problem. May not be bad enough, and you might be a perfect candidate for the online programs. You know what I mean? And then that will totally help you with our guidance, break through, and then overcome whatever you're struggling with. So there's no such thing as one session. People like to think that, and it's more of a I know that when you talk about like smoking cessation, you know, in hypnosis, many hypnotists claim that they do it in one session or two sessions. I don't do that because I offer deep breakthroughs. I offer deep entrepreneurial breakthroughs, business breakthroughs, and relationship breakthroughs, and those take at least, 10 to 20 sessions.
Okay. All right. So, like you say,
was it helpful?
Yeah. It makes sense and everything like that. It's just that I was wondering if, if say I have like several problems and some people only have one, if it was going to be like the same kind of price and stuff like that. But I mean, really, I don't feel like money should be an object if it helps you achieve what you need to achieve. I know it is kind of hard, due to the fact what we're going through in the day's world and everything like that. That's the reason I was asking those kind of questions.
Sure.
Now, you say that you have people, students and stuff like that work for you. What do you have, like, say if I wanted to work for you, what do I have to bring as my credentials, or what do I have to already have went through, classes or something like that, to go work for you?
Well, let me ask a clarifying question. Is this a hypothetical question, or are you sincerely interested?
Well, I live in Virginia, and I have a decent job and everything like that, but I'm just curious about all this because, like I said, I'll be frank, I didn't know what to expect from this interview. I thought we were just going to talk about suicide and depression. So what you have brought to the table is something that is kind of new to us and probably a lot of the listeners and stuff. It's very interesting. Like I said, I'm like writing notes all over the place and everything like that because I've never talked to a person like this. And so therefore, what you're saying is something that's new to me and a lot of other people. And so therefore, I'm these questions pop in my head. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those people that I can have like 10 questions and then wham, bam, I got like 10 more, therefore, like I said, if something is you don't want to answer or something like that, you can just tell me, hey, skip or whatever.
Got it. No, I appreciate the question because it shows me genuinity, curiosity, and intrigue. And I work with, right now I have a team of 4. I am the person who's really, really good at decoding the problem. That's sort of my gift. Like you tell me, I have a relationship problem and I've been doing it for 30 years and I don't know what the heck I'm doing and why. I'll ask a few questions and within 5 minutes, I'll have the whole thing decoded and they'll know why and they can fix it. So to answer your question, Brenda, I would say that there's no straight answer to that. Not that I'm a very straight shooter, but I would have to have a need for something. I would like to talk to you, get to know you, because I'm a private company. I'm an entrepreneur, and I am, spreading. We have a division in Germany. I'm Hungarian by birth, so if you hear the accent, that's where it's from. And so we are teaching, right now online and in the physical sense in Germany. So we have a division in Germany, and we trained some of the best and most successful coaches and therapists. So if you wanted to work for me, I would get on the phone with you, get to know you. It would not be sort of an interview style. It would be a very genuine, heart-to-heart conversation. And then we could see what excites you, and we could see what need I have, and then, we could match the two if there's a match, okay? So I'm very careful who I work with because, as you mentioned, and you brought it up, I really like people. I'd like people to have the mindset, the breakthroughs that I offer, so we speak the same language, and it's not a protection, it's not a defense, anything. It's just simply a completely different mindset. Because when we haven't resolved our hurts and our guilt and our traumas, then we will say no to things that we should have said yes to, and then we will say yes to things that we should have said no to. So the world is very confused at that stage. But that's not a problem, because that's what I help people overcome, sort out their confusion and get clarity, and then, whatever else there is. So if that's of interest to you, we can have a separate conversation. But that's what I'm right now. I work with 3 additional people, and all of them were my students, and now they are business partners. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so a person could possibly take online classes with you and maybe not work for you, but get your, I want to say, knowledge and everything like that to where they can do things on their own. Is that a possibility?
That's
okay.
what we do. That's what we focus on. My job is to get to know you, get to know the struggles you have, and I'd like to say something about struggles.
Uh-huh.
It has a negative connotation in most people's minds, because who wants to struggle, right? But our struggles are divinely and very precisely designed for us to find a solution to them and overcome them, and then teach it to other people. And the reason why people are in pain today is because they don't know this simple thing. The only reason why we struggle is because there's some form of subconscious commitment that we committed to God, and we are violating that promise. That's why we struggle. And the moment you go, wait a minute, I didn't know that. I want to get to the bottom of things. And the moment you do, a beautiful journey begins.
Okay.
Does it make sense? I mean, I feel like a sigh of relief from both of you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Basically, hypnosis, nothing more than working with God to help you heal and achieve the results. But most people have it completely upside down and backwards.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a question. Like you said, you're worldwide and also practice in the States as well. What are the different licenses that you have to hold to practice in the States or maybe worldwide?
Sure. I'll say 2 things here. Licenses are issued by government organizations or institutions. This is about 100 years ahead of time, so they can't possibly license it. They don't exist. The license doesn't exist. So for me to do this, I am actually certified. And in the entrepreneurial world, which is decades ahead of the traditional schools, there's no such thing as licensing. I should be issuing licenses. So in other words, there's an inherent conflict in the world right now, because the schools that we look to are the ones that have the sort of authority to issue the license are not aware of this leading edge information. Okay? So it's almost like asking a horseman to fly a spaceship and asking the horseman to give the spaceship a license. It doesn't work that way. So in other words, the licensing you can forget about. That's a different story. And the leading edge knowledge also has to be in the spiritual psychology realm, quantum psychology, and in the world of coaching, as well as proven results. Because at the end of the day, I am sure that whoever you go to for help, you might check out their wall for their certifications, but if they can't help you, what good is it, right? But what about if you don't know someone's background, the certification, but you know they can help? Who would you choose? The pedigree or the results? Okay?
Yeah,
and this is sort of the – I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would definitely choose the results.
Yes, exactly. And this is sort of a new awareness that humanity is coming to, right? And, of course, you have to be smart. You have to learn who to trust, who not to trust, right? But we are all about results. And, again, that's why I mentioned this earlier, that I work with people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I have more certifications and credentials that, people can, wallpaper a room with it. But that's not the point, because this is not about that. It's about me having an incredible knowledge, being able to help people come out of even the deepest and the darkest places, giving them the power and their life back, and teaching them how to do it for themselves from then on. And that's what matters to me. This is the new humanity, where we look to each other for our authentic gifts instead of our superficial papers.
Do you ever offer free consultations?
Well, this is a great question. I do. I just actually had something very similar. I don't call it a free consultation. It's much more than that. It's like a free breakthrough session. But I do offer that. Of course, the seats are limited. My time is very limited. But if there is a good fit, a person that's really interested, is really committed to changing, of course, yes. But again, I'm only one person, and my team and I are very busy. So that has to be scheduled on a calendar and very precisely conducted.
Okay. Do you have a place where people can go check out your testimonials and reviews?
Oh, the best place to go is my website. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, also on Instagram. But my website is, the company is called Advanced Mind Institute. And the link, the URL is amindinstitute.com. Okay? So it's A as an apple, mindinstitute.com. It's all one word. amindinstitute.com, and they could check it out.
Okay.
We list all the testimonials, and there's more.
Do you ever offer, like, in between sessions, maybe homework or something for your clients to think about between the sessions?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked. Yes. Part of my approach is I don't want to create a dependence. What I want to create is empowerment, and this is so empowering. This is so different from anything that I used to know. And remember, I'm formerly a corporate engineer and a corporate manager. So I believe in homework. I believe in giving them tasks because it gives them the aha moments. It gives them the curiosity, and it gives them additional healing. And eventually, as you probably might have heard a similar saying, I cannot walk for other people. The only way people will be happy is when they learn to do things for themselves. And that's what the homework helps achieve, as well as my coaching.
Okay, you say roughly 10 sessions. Is that like once a week or once a month? How is the sessions usually run?
Typically, and all depends on the circumstance, typically it's once a week, and it's intense. Because here's what happens. Whatever you are experiencing today and you're repeating, you have been repeating it maybe for decades, maybe even for generations. A lot of these patterns are generational, cultural too. So if I work on something, say that like a relationship pattern, why does this lady, I'm not talking about you right now, Brenda, but say I'm working with a lady and she just has a very difficult time attracting the right man, attracts all the wrong men, and then rejects the good ones. It's very typical. Why? Mm-hmm. If this is generational, I might leave a couple weeks in between sessions because once we do these subconscious shifts, the person's world will shift and change very rapidly, and they will have to learn about the new world. And it takes, it's like being a little kid. You can say, oh, wow, I never realized this. Oh, wow, look at this. And they begin to build a new world, a new playground, because it's a lot of fun, So all depends on, I make the determination based on schedule, based on availability, and based on what is happening in the client's world.
Okay, so what's your most, again, I don't mean to say problem, what's your most thing that pops up in your line? Is it like more about breakups? Is it more health issues? Is it divorce? I mean, that people need help with.
Yeah, it's so interesting because most people have all the problems, and interestingly enough, they all stem from the same subconscious unresolved stories and problems. I would like to say so many things, but I know our time is limited, so I'll just say this. The number one problem is that we lack awareness. We lack the cause and effect, okay? And that's not something that I say this humbly because I lacked it too. Like what causes a divorce? What leads to it? What subconscious programs? What childhood stories create this outcome, okay? So let me answer your question then. I see a lot of relationship problems. A lot of them are in a power struggle mode, which is sort of the secret second stage of a relationship. And if they don't sort it out with professional help, then they easily can end up in divorce. And the problem with the divorce is that it's very costly. It really takes a part of our heart out. It carves a part of our inside out, and it's very difficult to put back together without professional help. So I can go as deep as you wish. I have gone through so many amazing journeys. I don't even want to say it right now because I want to keep, this conversation at this level. But yeah, so that's a big problem. Like people not knowing what to do in a relationship, what a relationship is all about. And I'll tell you this, guys, and this will blow your mind. The number one, and it's on also my podcast, I mentioned this, the number one function, the number one purpose of any romantic relationship is to heal each other, okay, to heal each other. And yet even this simple step is completely missing from the rest of people. And I've done it. I was divorced twice. I'm sure you guys have your own stories, but we think that a relationship is just this necessary evil, but actually it's very, very precisely and divinely guided, but we don't have the recipe. So that's what I help people understand and guide them through the system, the process, okay? And health issues are massive. They're all created by our psychological inner conflicts. This might be new to many people because part of our subconscious mind is controlled by our ego, and the ego gets very upset when it hears it. What do you mean? Like I created all my troubles, I created all this stuff. I said, yes, you have, but it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because this is a complex operating system. Okay? So, and then of course the money problems are, again, a very interesting combination of thinking patterns, very interesting combination of ancestral stories and unresolved, even childhood things. And when you add all these together, then you have an outcome that you don't like or people don't like. That all of it can be fixed, all of it should be fixed, but now people have the awareness that it's actually what we are supposed to do instead of buying into them and running from them.
So I guess you got a lot of success stories, right?
Incredibly many, yes. I know that we were supposed to talk about suicide and depression. Maybe we should set up another appointment because that's actually my specialty. But I just really enjoy talking with you guys. I'm sorry. I have incredible success stories.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I do. The simple answer is yes. I have incredible success stories, and I could go on. Just please ask me the next question, and we can then fine-tune the answer.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask another question, and then we have some callers on hold, and then once they ask their questions, me and Tucker will finish until the next guest calls in. So your podcast, please, I definitely want you to share it with my group, Face Off with Facemire. How long have you been doing your podcast?
It's really interesting. I've only started doing them 15 weeks ago, so I do have 15 episodes. I have a new episode come out once a week. I have been teaching, however, for 10 and a half years. So I taught live seminars in San Diego, California, seminars in Germany, and even in Phoenix, Arizona. Right now I live in Phoenix, Arizona. And I've been doing a lot of online coaching. So the podcasts are new. I love to do them. This is where I share my gifts. And if people go, I love this, I really want my life to be better, then we can talk about what additional online courses or private mentorship or whatever they wish to achieve would be best to help them. So lots of good things. I mentioned that there's a book that I had written. It's on Amazon called The Mastering of Your Mind. So all of these are designed for a greater purpose, to help each other, to help people find a way out of their suffering if that's what they choose. Okay, so the podcasts are new, and they get released Wednesdays at 2 p.m. California time.
Okay, so is the podcast, A, is it live, and B, do you take callers?
They are not live. I don't take callers on those. I was thinking of doing it. I have an account with the same podcasting station that you guys use, so I have that. It is not something that I have had the time to do so, but I'd be very happy to, take suggestions or recommendations or set something up if there's a need for it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'll let one of the callers. Hi, this is Keeping It Real. Who's calling?
Denver.
Denver, you got a question?
I do, actually.
Go ahead.
I actually have many, but
Go
I'll
ahead.
restrain myself to just a couple.
Okay.
So, I myself am a recovering addict and alcoholic. And one of the things that I had to do in my recovery process was I had to rewire my mind. Is that something that is taught, or is that something I'm going to have to learn, or an individual is going to have to learn on the fly? And if it is something that's learned on the fly, is there something I can do to encourage someone to get on that path to gain that knowledge or seek that knowledge?
Yeah, I really love your question, and I appreciate the courage. I used to struggle with addictions. Alcohol was one of them. So you asked many different questions, so I'll give you answers, short answers for each. One of the best ways that I personally have found, and even Gandhi said this, one of the best ways to encourage people is to be the change you want to see, okay? So the moment you feel like you are on the path of changing, accomplishing, shifting away from destructive patterns and really starting to develop a better life, you become a beacon of light. You become a beacon, a magnet of hope to many others. So keep doing it, please, okay? Back to the first question you said, is this taught? Is this something you have to do on the fly? I'll be frank with you. I've done this now 1 million times. And 10 years ago, I could not have answered this, but today I can. This is not something that you will be able to do on the fly unless you learn the techniques and the psychology. Now, that's my focus mainly, is to help people be able to do this on the fly so we can self-correct. It's just like when we speak, just like when we talk, you go, you speak, and all of a sudden you correct the word because it wasn't the best word to use. And that's how the mind works, okay?
Yes.
So it's very similar. Like when you feel like the way I do it at my level is like maybe once a week or twice a week. It doesn't matter right now, but maybe I have a strange thought that gives me a negative emotion. I know exactly what and how to eliminate it, so I work on that. Okay, so yes, that's the ultimate goal, but my observation or my recommendation is that in the beginning, it's best to learn about it, learn from a mentor, work with it, take some workshops, take some courses, and, for the intention of you getting better. And then the universe and God will arrange the remaining pieces for you to be meeting with the right people, the right mentors, as long as you are solid with your intention, okay? So also when you get to a more advanced knowledge level as to how to help people come out of their self-destructive patterns, how their mind works, and how you can sort of influence them in a positive way so that they will step on the path of healing and the path of, evolution, if you will, then you really starting to master life, because that's what I am doing here. I'm sharing my story, I'm sharing my wisdom, I'm sharing my knowledge, but it was a lot of work to get here. So if you feel like you have the ability right now, then do it. You might get feedback where people will push back. That's fine. It's just feedback, okay? But ultimately, if you really want to master it, then there are courses and there are, mentors available, for you to be guided through or into what you want to achieve. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, very much so. So,
okay.
Just for an example, if I had a friend that say were sick and tired of being sick and tired, but
I love
couldn't find themselves getting out of that rut. So they're not really sick and tired like they say they are. Is there one word or is there a statement you could make to that individual that might impact their life and bring them to that place where they really are sick and tired of being sick and tired?
You know, I love your question, and unfortunately, there's not one word. There might be one paragraph that you have to, very artfully craft, okay? Because I'll tell you this, and this is obviously not, it's advanced knowledge. It may make sense right now. Unfortunately, part of our subconscious world is, in the beginning, controlled by our ego. And most people think that the ego is just an arrogant, pushy, belligerent part of us. Actually, it's also a very sneaky, self-destructive part of us. It controls a lot of our pain and misery and our weaknesses. It does not want us to heal, okay? So what you can do, and obviously learn about this thing, but what I have noticed is that when people naturally value change more than their chronic attachment to misery and suffering, then they are ready to shift. Okay? So ultimately, the biggest problem that humanity has right now is that over the centuries, is that they developed an unconscious chronic attachment to misery and suffering. And it may sound strange. I certainly had hundreds of variations of it, but that's sort of one of the main traps that humanity is in today. And the reason why we feel so much pain is because we are asked to get out of there. Okay? I hope that made sense.
Made perfect sense. And one last
and
question.
It's all unconscious. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Right.
Say it again, please.
No, you're fine. Please continue on.
Okay, now I was saying it's all unconscious. It doesn't mean that people are bad or mean or manipulative. It doesn't mean any of that. It is unfortunately a program, and these programs are powerful. They run our lives. They create our results, and as long as we don't know of them, they will know of us, and they will run our lives. And the first step to healing, the first step to change, the first step to getting better results is conscious awareness of what we are talking about here.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And it's not, it's not woo-woo. It's like a very precise science. And successful people always knew it, but it wasn't available. They didn't. It wasn't taught in books.
Okay,
was
you
I
had another
able
question,
to answer your
Jennifer?
question? Yes.
No, actually, he answered everything. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for the question.
Thanks, Denver.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Denver, for calling. Hold on. We got another caller. Hi, this is Keeping It Real. Who's calling? Hello? Hello? They must have stepped away from their phone. Go ahead, Tucker.
Is there a specific way you treat clients, like a unique way that sets you apart from the other hypnotherapists?
Oh, absolutely. I actually, believe it or not, I don't do as much hypnosis as people think. I can actually talk them through a problem because I know the quantum psychology. And the way I do it differently is I know the million layers of the human mind. So, for example, when they say, I have a relationship problem and I have a problem with boundaries, I feel like my heart's always broken and, they give me the story. I don't ask them to close their eyes. I ask them a set of questions that hardly anyone in the world understands and knows of. And as I guide them through the process and they keep their eyes open for the most part, they will be able to completely break through and heal ancient wounds. Now, there are wounds, there are problems, there are conflicts that I use different hypnotic techniques for, okay? So I know of hundreds of tools, and I can design them on the fly. So the main thing here is understanding the deep spiritual psychology and the quantum psychology, okay? Because, in other words, imagine that you're a car mechanic, and then you only know one tool, the ratchet, then you will be looking for things to ratchet. But what if it's not the problem? What if the trunk doesn't open? The ratchet is not going to cut it. So hypnosis is one tool, okay? And that is probably something that I use like 10% of the time, okay? So that is not the main focus. What I mainly focus on is not the technique, but how to help people achieve the results. And then I determine the technique because I know hundreds of them. Okay, I hope that was helpful.
Yes. Do you have any specific case that was your most interesting that stands out in your mind?
Absolutely. I worked a lot with, and I know this was the topic of today, a lot of suicidal people. They are doing amazingly well today, okay? And suicide, and obviously I understand we don't have the time to get into it. That's why if you guys, find this interesting, then I'd be very happy to, come on your show again. But when we talk about somebody who's that far gone, but they still want to have a good life and build it, kind of have the attitude, I'll do whatever it takes, that is what I call miracles. So I am one of the greatest miracles. Recovered from paralysis and a stroke because it was all subconscious. It was all psychological. I was very heavily traumatized as a child, and a lot of these unresolved traumas lead to these strange and adverse life circumstances. The logic of it is very convoluted, okay? So, yeah, there are miracles. I have helped hundreds of people. Right now we have a branch in Germany, and we get calls daily, like, how do you help people with epilepsy? Oh, you do this and this and this. Boom, 2 sessions or 1 session, done, right? Or how do you help people with this relationship problem? How do you help people with it? So everything has an answer. Everything has a reason. But I obviously have to be, either have to do the session myself because I know how to do it, or have to be administered by someone that I trained. Okay? So there are lots and lots of success stories. I've seen miracles, and I'm so grateful that I could be on your show today because that's part of the whole process, to share the miracles. And the miracles always stem from our inside, from us, our desires, our wish, and our willingness to change.
Okay. Has there been ever any cases where the hypnotherapy was dangerous to the client?
Well, okay, not for me because I'm very highly trained, but hypnotherapy by itself is not dangerous to the client. And I understand that you could tell people to do some bad things or dangerous things. But a lot of times people do that even while they're having a drink, so it doesn't have to be a hypnosis session. Not for me, because I have sworn to God or, whatever that is, that I sworn to. I made a commitment to my higher self and God that I will use this to only empower people and help people come out of pain and build a good life. So does it have a dangerous side? Yes, it does. Just like a knife does. It can cook a dinner or can cut your finger or can kill someone. Just like a car can take you from point A to point B or kill, you know what I mean? So it's really up to the user, the applicant, or the practitioner, how it's used. It's not the technique, but rather the method through which it's used.
Okay. Somebody sent me a message and wanted me to ask, can you ever get stuck in hypnosis?
No. I mean, okay. People think they can, and in a way you are in a dream state most of the time. So if you feel like you're stuck, you could simply give your mind a command, which, by the way, it listens all the time. It listens 24/7. You could say, come out now. And these 3 words, come out of this now. This command alone will snap you out of it. Okay? But I'll tell you this. people that, and I'm talking about now the big whole, humanity as a whole, there's a lot of suffering, a lot of relationship problems, financial problems. They are actually stuck in hypnosis. Suffering is not part of life. Pain is part of life, but suffering is optional. So the moment they know that and they tell themselves, okay, I want to come out of this hypnotic state where they were stuck in thinking that there's no way out, that can be ended, okay? And, of course, they have to learn what to do next because there's always the next layers, the next strategies that they have to implement.
Okay. What's the difference between neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis?
Okay. I could talk about this for hours, but I'll give you something very, very simple. Hypnosis tends to be more of a slow and methodical way of talking to the subconscious mind. For example, when I tell you a story, when you find that story very intriguing, and in your mind's eye, you will follow the storyline. Like when I talk about a donkey that walked up the hill and it was struggling at first because it had so much baggage tied to him, right? You see the monkey, right? You could kind of follow it in your mind's eye. This was actually like a very quick hypnosis. And most hypnosis actually is meditation, but hypnosis is more targeted and typically more focused on an outcome, okay? So hypnosis really is just giving you talking to the creative mind to see things a certain way to achieve certain results. Neuro-linguistic programming is a set of tools, a set of linguistic tools, a set of visual tools, and a set of auditory tools. And since this is a phone call, I can't demonstrate it to you, but you can actually change a size of a mental image in neuro-linguistic programming, and the emotion completely changes. Say that something really makes you worried or something makes you feel uncomfortable. You could use a very simple neuro-linguistic programming tool, reduce the size of this imaginary image, even helpful, and all of a sudden you feel completely different, totally better. So neuro-linguistic programming is the way I like to see it, is a system of tools that helps you achieve consistent results.
Okay. Have you ever done any past life regression?
Yes, I've done thousands. I'm a certified past life regressionist, and I teach very advanced quantum past life regressions, quantum jumps, and also past life regressions into other dimensions such as the astral plane. I mean, I didn't expect the question from you, but I applaud you for it. Yes, I have. And I'll tell you this. Everything I do, I always try on myself because I want to know. So I'm not your textbook guy. I'm the guy that studied a lot. I'm the guy that is very methodical, and yet I will not say a word until I have 100% proof that it works, and I can prove it.
Okay, then I got a question, which people say there's no stupid question. You say you try it on yourself. Do you hypnotize yourself, or can you do that?
Yes, I can do
can
that, and of course, yes, of course. All hypnosis, self-hypnosis, but I don't want to get too cutesy about it. Yes, there are things that you could do on yourself, and yet there are things that you need someone to help you. You know, I have a really beautiful, wonderful lady in my life, and she and I have been on this journey together. So she has been growing with me. She has been helping me through my own personal pain. So when we first met, I was already an experienced hypnotist, an experienced practitioner, neuro-linguistic programming master practitioner. Then I was a trainer. But then we learned past life regression together, and she's done thousands of sessions on me and with other people. So she's really good at it. So I trust her because she has the experience, and those sessions I could not have done on myself. So great question. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, I would be afraid to try to do something on myself and something go wrong and there's no one there to help me. Or you understand what I'm saying? So that's why I asked that.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and that's why what I have learned is that always have a support system who is on the path of learning. Because support system quite often is someone that may not know and will pull us back. So what I promote, what I suggest is that people get into support systems that will help them get unstuck. Like what you said, Brenda. Like, okay, so if I did this, what happened? We are never stuck. Really, all that means is that we don't know the next step.
Okay. I know you can't say who, but have you ever had any famous clients, since you were in California?
Well, not maybe the famous that you are thinking, like the celebrities, but I have worked with great coaches that are very successful today. So I'm not talking about celebrities here, Hollywood level.
Okay. And do you see that there's more need and more help needed by people with all the things going on in the world today, with the coronavirus and all the race, people being racist and stuff like that, all these issues and stuff going on in the world, that more people need something like this in their life?
I would absolutely say yes, with 100% certainty, and I'll tell you why. This may pleasantly surprise some people or might also shock some other people. Anything and everything that we don't like in other people, it is a repressed side inside us. All right? So if we don't like a certain character trait, it is because at one point we got really disgusted by it, but now we carry the burden of having it. So in other words, people who are not well, people who don't have angry outbursts or have worries and concerns, who have all these other things we mentioned, yes. And this is the sure way to quickly get to the root of things, to the origin of things, and then give them the life that they want. All right? So I do see a huge need. I do see a huge revolution in coaching, and it is, in fact, something that I am leading. It is something that I have developed a system for, and whoever is ready, whoever wants to really intriguedly join this amazing mission, I welcome those people.
Okay. I'm going to go back real quick to the callers and see if they have anything. Denver, do you have any more questions before?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I just wanted to say thank you so much for flipping that switch for me.
Oh, you're wonderful. What switch was most helpful, sir?
I've been struggling the last few weeks. I'm in a marriage where my wife is in a nursing home, and she's been there for 2 years. And every time she calls me, I get absolutely outraged at her.
Yeah.
And you just hit the nail right on the head. I used to be that.
Yeah.
And now I got to figure out how I can keep from getting angry about that repressed image.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these repressed images, and I'm so glad you brought that up. I could give you the answer, but it's like 100 different things coming at you, and what you feel is the accumulation of all those things. So, yeah, it's great. I really highly encourage you to, listen to my podcast. You seem like you really, really are into this, and obviously I can tell that you're intrigued by it. You're, embracing it. It's awesome, because one of the things that I left my six-figure job, my corporate career, because I was so amazed by it. It brought me back from paralysis. It fixed my digestive problems, and what you are experiencing, sir, is actually very intelligently stated, because that is part of our highly and deeply suppressed and repressed shadow side. I don't know if that makes sense, but it is the raging underworld where we feel like we failed, where we feel like, we weren't good enough, and all of those things are just now starting to become like coming to you to ask to be friends with them instead of being repressed.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure, sir. Really nice meeting you.
For opening my eyes today.
Thank you. Anytime. Check out my podcasts, and you know I've got some really good info out there.
So
you might enjoy it. Awesome.
Thank you,
And the name
Denver.
of those podcasts again?
Give him the name again, Robert.
I'm sorry. Tell me
the name
again,
of those podcasts again?
Yes, sir.
So, for
I am
example,
on all...
if I went to...
Yes, you can find them multiple places. So I'll give you the first one. If you go to my website, halfway down, I share the public link. It's called amindinstitute.com. You know, for Advanced Mind Institute,
amindinstitute.com.
Institute.com. Or if you have any podcasting station, let it be, or channels, let it be iHeartRadio, let it be iTunes, Spotify, Pandora. I'm on all of those. And the podcast is called Prosperity Mindset. Or if you type my name, which is Robert, and then SZENTES, it should pop up. You'll see like a blue background with, you know, me on it, and it says Prosperity Mindset with Robertszentes.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally blind, so I wouldn't see the blue background. But
all right.
No, you're fine. You didn't know. And in fact, that has been part of my rewiring, if you will, is learning to understand that blindness is not a bad thing. In fact, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, how amazing. I appreciate you saying it. You know, I'll tell you this, and this might totally intrigue you. What's your name, sir? Because we keep calling you Denver, but...
Denver.
Yes,
really
that's my real name, Denver.
Okay. In that case, I apologize. I thought that was a location. So,
no,
all right.
That's okay.
So I will have 2 additional podcasts that are coming out, one this week, one next week. And then following that, I will be interviewing another gentleman, a spiritual hypnotist that I have a lot of respect for. And in that episode, we'll talk about how blindness actually is created by our mind and how he has helped people come or overcome that and fix it. So this might have been your something answer to you.
I don't think there's a fix for mine because I have 2 prosthetic eyes, but
okay.
I can appreciate what you're saying, and I would definitely be opening to listening to it because I believe the song Amazing Grace was blind, but now I see. I truly believe that I see better now blind than I ever did sighted.
Oh, wow.
Recently, I had a young lady here at my house, and she actually went to swing at me, and I literally put my hand up and stopped her midstream. And she didn't understand how I knew that it was there or where it was.
Yeah.
And so I see exactly what you're saying, and I would definitely be interested in listening to those 2 podcasts. And so
Beautiful.
I will
absolutely.
definitely subscribe tonight and listen,
awesome.
and I will definitely look at the website. Thank you so very much for opening
You're most
my
welcome.
eyes today.
Yes, sir. It's my honor. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Denver. We have another caller. Hi, this is Keeping It Real. Do you have a question? Hello? Kirby? Hello? Okay. A lot of people listening, but when they punch in, definitely, if you can, share that on Face Off with Facemire, my group page, so that people can start listening to your podcast and everything like that. I thank you so much for coming on. This was very interesting, and I'm sorry we kept you over time. but I felt like a lot of people learned from this and everything like that. So, and like I said, anytime that you want to come back, just, let me know.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thanks so much for your time, too.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
All right, hon.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Have a good day.
Okay. That was different. What do you think, Tucker? I mean, I just want to explain something to people. Some of these people that I've booked, they were in my classes. They're in groups I am, and I ask them what their topic is, and I go off on what they say. So I assumed he was going to come on and talk about suicide and depression, and I even said that last night. And so that's why I told me and Tucker, and that's kind of how we prepared our questions. So thank goodness, thank God, when we started doing these, to start asking people to give an intro, tell us a little bit about themselves and everything like that. So therefore, it flips the script, and we've had to, change things up. And this wasn't the first one. I mean, this is probably at least the second one. The other one, Tucker went on with me. So it was like, wham. And, again, turned out to be a great interview. I thought this one was really good, too. I mean, it was some things that I didn't know, honestly and truly. So I thought, again, wow, we're learning something that we probably didn't know about or wouldn't think to ask or anything like that. You got anything to say, Tucker?
Well, I think this is almost brand new for you. Me personally, I have an old chat line friend I met many years ago who is probably about 3 years into his journey of mastering the art of hypnotherapy. So I've ran into this before, and it amazes me, and it's so interesting because, I mean, it's very unique and unheard of, the people that do this. And they go through so much training. Like my friend that I know has trained all over the world with a couple hundred different masters, and, like he was saying before, like just all different people you got to basically learn from, because it's not taught in textbooks. It's taught by word of mouth and by actions and shown, passed down from generation to generation. It is very, very, I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it totally caught me off guard, and my page was still full of questions and stuff like that. And it doesn't look like the guy with the tattoos, I guess they're busy or something, I don't know. So therefore, we will be getting off soon. I do want to thank, again, like I said last night, Denver for his donation toward my breast cancer bags. I appreciate it. I did put up a link in my groups and stuff. If anybody wants to send any of those items, I appreciate it, because I'm looking at, I know Breast Cancer Awareness Month is October, and then also I'm looking at Christmas time and stuff like that, so I'm going to definitely be using this stuff. And I think that, honestly, Tucker, you and I need to do an interview with Denver about his life. I mean, because I think that he sounds like a very intriguing person. You know what I'm saying? I know he's going to come on at the August 31st interview, him and a couple people. So I'm really looking forward to that. But you know him better than I do. What do you think? I mean, it's just that he amazes me.
Right. I get to spend, I get to talk to him every day, several times a day. And, yes, there's not a day that passes that he doesn't say or maybe share a story that I find completely intriguing and interesting. He is very knowledgeable. I mean, the thing, the things he does, and, in his business world, he is very business-minded, and the way he goes to help people. Like Denver probably has one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in a person that I've met in the past, probably I'm going to say 15 to 20 years. He is a humanitarian. I mean, he tries to help and boost anybody he comes in contact with. I mean, there's so many different sides to Denver and so many past stories that, you know, hearing him talk about the past stories, it's very interesting to see, you know, his travel to where he got today. It's always interesting to hear everything he has to say, and he's very intelligent and well spoken too. So that's a very good plus when especially comes on the chat line.
Well, I'm crying here, first of all, because the way he was talking and everything like that, some of the things he said. And one of the things I like about Denver, he tells you the truth. He doesn't keep anything back. And some things, I mean, I'll be honest, some people wouldn't say. Denver's kind of like me, you know. He just puts it out there, and we don't worry about the circumstances, because sometimes I get off the air and I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have said that or whatever, you know, but it is what it is. And that's one of the things, I mean, I find intriguing about him, and I'm trying to look on the schedule. I'm going to have to send you a day, because we do have like maybe one came open today. The guy is getting ready to do a family reunion. So I might have an hour open in August, but I just don't think an hour is going to be enough with Denver. So I'm going to put it out there, too, is what do you think? I was going to ask you, maybe Denver would be interested in doing his own show. I mean, something will probably be coming up on Sundays with us, you know, saying goodbye to Let's Talk After Dark, due to the fact, you know, with me. I mean, I'll be honest, people. Like I said, I couldn't go to sleep last night. You know, I was all hyped this morning. I haven't worth a hill of beans today. I got a few things done, but you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we could do like, you know, I know he's on hold. I'm not going to talk to him now. He can think about this, and he can think about whatever subject he wants. And maybe I can work with him, and then, you know, me and you we'll talk about it and everything like that, and just see if he's interested, and he can pick a topic and stuff like that. So two of my good old buddies are still on hold, and I went to them, and they weren't there when I wanted to see if they had a question. So that being said, let me see before we say goodnight. Steve? Okay. Still not there. I don't know if he fell asleep or what it is up.
Maybe.
Kirby.
Yes, we're watching the grandbaby, and he was making too much background noise. So I muted. I was on mute.
Okay, because I went to you, and like I said, Steve didn't say anything, and Denver asked his questions, and since we went over, I told Tucker, I said, you know, let's go ahead and let this guy finish, and then, you know, we're just going to get off the air at 7:30 instead of, you know, again. So, yeah. So that's okay, Kirby. I appreciate the love showing up anyway. Like I said, tomorrow night, it's supposed to be, I say it's supposed to be because we're getting surprises here, and that's okay. Tomorrow night is supposed to be, wait a minute. Matter of fact, I posted it. Steve said, great interview. I'm here. And he said that we need to interview Denver for 2 hours. I just don't think I got a slot in August that's 2 hours. I think, I got 2 1-hour deals, and they're all both at 7 o'clock. Because one guy, he is already booked, and one guy, like I said, he had a reunion. I'm going to go look at the post. I'm going to share it as soon as we get off here. I already wrote it up for tomorrow's show. And, again, we could be surprised. And the thing is, I don't mind being surprised because Don't you think it was a pretty good interview, Tucker? Hmm?
Yes, it was a very excellent interview. Kept us on our toes, too, you know.
Right. And, again, tomorrow is supposed to be 6 o'clock, Suicide Prevention Support Awareness and Education. So I think he works at one of those kind of places. So he's not, experienced with this as to doing it or anything like that. And the 7 o'clock guy is supposed to be diet and health. So I think that would be kind of interesting and stuff. And they both verified that they will be here. The tattoo guys, they're the ones that was on local news here, and I sent them a thing, and we finally agreed upon the thing. So they might not have wrote it on their calendar, or they might have got busy. Things happen. So at least we recovered from that and everything. So that being said, stay tuned. Like I said, we got the shows tomorrow, and then Wednesday he said, she said, and Thursday night's going to be the 2 sports shows, and hopefully my show, Sports, will be back next Thursday. And then Friday is going to be Kirby and Steve with their shows. And we'll let you know about Sunday and see what happens.
The tattoo guys?
So,
the tattoo guys, you said?
Yeah. What it was he was on the news because he was trying to help people out because this guy came in there with a Confederate flag and he wanted to cover it up. So that's what they were doing to help people out, I think, free of charge. I thought, well, that's an interesting story. So I wanted to come on and talk about that, and then we could ask him about, sports tattoos and anything like that. But, again, I did send them a message so they might realize they made a mistake and we can get them on one of these other two. I got a bunch of people to book, huh?
I am so old, my tattoos look misspelled.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I do appreciate you calling. So that being said, we're going to let you guys go and get out of here early tonight. Hope you guys call back tomorrow night and with the questions and stuff like that. So thanks, everyone. Night.
Night,
Night, Tucker.